Hello, hello, hello. Check. Yeah, sorry, I realized I didn't have my mic plugged in, or not my mic, it's gonna bother me. I realized I didn't have my camera on. What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is nice and early. We got Tailing Dawes already bitching. Why are we so early? Oh my god! Shut the fuck up. We've got games starting in 3 hours. I got to be a little bit corp today. I got to run out. So this actually works out well, I think, because I've got probably a solid hour, and then Ramble's going to go on right after us, and I think I'm going to hop on for a little bit too. So hope you all had a great day, Thursday, Friday. I hope you've survived. I hope everybody's gambling responsibly. Obviously, I hope you're winning some money. And it's been an up and down start to the tournament for me. Had some good reads, had some bad reads. If you take, I keep saying this, if you take Georgia out of the equation, I'm about even. Shout out Bryant, those fuckers. I went to bed feeling really good about him. I was like, man, Bryant's fighting. Michigan State looks pretty slow, pretty ugly game, kind of exactly what you wanted. I wake up, I take a piss, 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. I look at my phone. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I saw it was like 80, 85-62. I was like, that's got to be 65-62. 85-62? Those fuck faces. But anyways, thanks for everybody who hung out with the Maryland live sweat. Love those Maryland Terrapins. Love them. So I know it's early, but we need to lock in, as the kids say. All right. There's no time to fuck around. We got Mid-Major Matt joining us here in a little bit to talk some ball. Chatted with Steak. It sounds like Steak is going to be ready to go on Monday. So Steak will be back on Monday. Everything is pointing in that direction. So looking forward to having them. We do have some NIT today. Truthfully, probably not going to spend too much time on it. What I would like to do is recap. All right. I want to do a quick recap of the games yesterday. And then we'll go into the board today. I have some thoughts. I have some things to say. I have tweeted some stuff. Oh, also shout out. Remember yesterday I was saying, Wade Op, what's up with the new follow? How you doing? Welcome to the board review. Do you guys remember how I was saying I wasn't getting any mean DMs? And I think I've kind of fallen off. I think the people have heard that because I got a mean DM from someone this morning from someone I've never talked to before. And he said, never gamble again. You're horrible. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. That was very nice. And they used the proper your with an apostrophe RE. So I'm into that. I'm really into that. And I'm not even joking. Maybe I'm getting my groove back. The night slate for me was a little tough. I thought about getting some bets in. I almost tailed Beeve on Marquette. Glad I didn't, but I saw he did hit Illinois. That was a good wager. I went out to Pickett's. I don't know if you want to call it a company party, a little gathering, little shindig. Had a great time with those guys. Good people over at Pickett. And I told him, it's unfortunate. I really do like action for tracking, but it's so fucking annoying. Like making your bet, going to the app, making your bet, then going to the app. And I love how Pickett, you just fucking place your bets, you sync your book, and you're good to go. It's a little challenging sometimes because I have used offshore so much in the past. And when I'm traveling and I've been in Florida, and I can't, I didn't know it I couldn't sync Hard Rock, but now you can. I will probably get a little bit more involved on Pickett. I like the app. I like the people. So we're going to maybe get a little bit more involved with Pickett, especially with baseball coming up, because I loved how they reminded me that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was my most bet player prop. So anyways, so you didn't take New Mexico. No, I did not. No, minus 10 units on NCAA, plus 80 units on NBA last 2 days. My bracket is so toast. Dogs were not barking. No, they were not. They were not. What's up, Saladin Mola? How are you? It's Michigan and McNeese today. We'll talk about that nice and early. What's up, bad guy? Good morning. Good morning, Rick's Picks. Good morning, DJ. And let's get it today. That'd be great. Unk is into getting chirped by Twitter. No, I wouldn't say I'm into it. I like the peace and the calm and the zen of not having Twitter trolls. But if there's crickets after losing a bet like Georgia, it makes you worried. Like, oh shit, you want to have you got to. It shows you're doing something right if you have some people chirping you. You know what I mean? So thanks for keeping it 100. We called it DGen UNM outright. Yep, you did. Good job. They got some dogs, and I'm not a Marquette guy. Don't fade the Mormons today. I'll probably be betting on the Mormons today. I got a little bit of concern about that. We'll talk about it. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. And shout out Snowman Sports. Again, every time I pop into this guy's stream, he's doing a great job. Awesome streamer, awesome guy to talk sports with. I don't know if I have a mod in here, but I would give your channel a shout out. I haven't even looked, but I will take a look today when I'm commuting to my appointment. I've got a funny day today. I've got a couple of showings, and then I'm going to a friend's having a birthday party for, I thought it was a 1-year-old. Maybe it's a 2-year-old, but it's a child's birthday. I think I told you. He was like, hey, man, I'd love for you to come. I know it's the first weekend of March Madness. How about I do it at a place with some TVs and like kind of a sports bar feel? I'm like, that's very nice of you to do. I'll be there. Fun fact, we actually kind of flew up like to come back to New York for this, my wife and I. So I feel like that's a nice compromise. He was like, hey, we'll do it at a place with TVs with the games on. Like that's a nice thing to do and being considerate, like if you're getting married during football season. And I was like, yeah, I'll fucking be there. I don't even know. He's got 2 kids. I don't even know which kid's birthday it is, but we'll figure it out. All right, let's rock and roll. Wade Op, putting my mortgage on it. High Point let me down. I'm taking down the Boilermakers. Oh, dude, I'm so nervous, man. I have a weird feeling McNeese is getting really, really trendy, and that shit just ain't paying. But I think I'm gonna do it. I'll tell you about the DM I got this morning and my thoughts on that. Let's do a nice little recap. Let's get the temples buzzing. Cheers, everybody. I got my Bubby's. Bubby's great diner in New York. Unfortunately, they have like $28 pancakes, which I'm not gonna tell you they are or are not worth it. I can't be buying no $28 pancakes with the way I'm gambling. But anyways, I visited your YouTube channel and your video making is very good. Your content ideas are very good. Well, thank you very much. All right, let's get into it. So let's take it from the top. Oh shit, you know what? Hold on. If I just do this. Okay. Excuse me. Baylor, Mississippi State was a good game. Baylor, Mississippi State was a good fucking game. Oh, you know what? Let me just make sure. Is my audio right? Check. Yep, I'm good. I think we're good. We sound good. Baylor, Mississippi State was a really good game. Why am I watching 6 Edge? You probably have to sub. All right. I don't even have the heat turned on that much. Looks like this for Eagle gave out a sub bank. Thank you, this for Eagle W's. Rick, you probably have to sub to watch ad free, unfortunately. Okay. Let's or it's not that unfortunate. Come on. I know you got $6 laying around somewhere. Baylor, Mississippi State, thought it was a really good game. Full game stays under after the steam to the over. I played the first half under 68.5. Motherfucker, it was 37-32. Now listen, I'm not bitching, but I think both these teams were in the bonus with like 7 minutes net left. That's how you know you are fucked. I got scarred because I really wanted to play, and I talked about it, that under in Oklahoma and UConn. I thought that would be pretty tight. And I didn't really see where the offense is going to come from. I am so scarred on betting unders. Every time I feel like I bet an under, going back to fucking Middle Tennessee State the other day, every time I bet an under, I feel like the teams just have like their best offensive performances. So I like betting unders. I really do. And I've had some good success in years past betting first half unders, especially this time of year. I'm getting scarred. I'm getting fucking scarred, and I don't know how many more times I can do it. But bend don't break, right? Bend don't break. Yeah, Hubbard was the guard on Mississippi State, right? The guy on Baylor that everybody said was pretty good, or by everybody, I mean, I think maybe the commentators or something, Edgecombe. I wasn't like the biggest fan. But I do have to say, I had no lean in the game at all. I thought both teams were kind of banging. I was a little impressed by both teams in different ways, but Baylor was pretty scrappy. Thanks for taking that. Thanks for that UConn under, Unc. I asked if you were taking. Great read. Appreciate it. No problem. Good to hear that somebody took it. Yep. Big 10, 8-0 and unders to run one. Yep. Edgecombe going to be a top 10 pick. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, between like Cam Jones and Edgecombe, like these guys that I'm hearing are fucking high draft picks in the NBA. I don't know. Nobody's really impressing me all that much. You in the green after 2 days of madness? No, Potsy, unfortunately. I had a 5-unit play on Georgia that lost. So I'm basically down. I would be even. I'm basically down those 5 units. Both my dogs yesterday absolutely sucked. We'll talk about that. The Edgecombe near dunk was almost disgusting. Yep. 8-leg parlay missed by Marquette. Should have listened to you, DGen. Yeah, that's all right. Listen, you got to trust your eyeballs, this time of year. And when you guys, you don't really have to thank me, by the way. You don't have to thank me. I got to thank people in this chat, because I didn't know anything about New Mexico, but I watched a lot of Marquette. I was at the Big East tournament for 2 fucking days, and I was just not impressed. And then when you told me New Mexico had some dogs and they had this guy, Donovan Dent, I didn't know anything about, guarding Cam Jones, who I'm not that impressed with, I was out. I was fucking out. And I really wanted to tail B for the vibes. I almost took the race to 20, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it. So let's keep moving. Robert Morris in Alabama. Shout out to the fellas. Okay. They told me to fade Alabama. I was bitching and moaning at first. I took Robert Morris first half, get in, get out, sprinkled a little on the money line too. Small 0.2 units didn't come through, but they got the plus 12.5. They were banging Robert Morris. They were banging. So I was a little impressed by that. I don't have anything really bad to say about Alabama. I mean, they play fast. They leave themselves a little exposed on defense. They seem a little bit vulnerable. I don't know that they're necessarily a team that I think is going to get very deep in this tournament. But we'll talk about them tomorrow. Iowa State Lipscomb. Listen, I could not have been more wrong about this upset. Holy shit. Fuck. I mean, can we just hold on for a second? I have to ask who. I actually think it was Special K that told me this, and I feel like Special K is a ball knower. Somebody told me Lipscomb's actually good. Somebody said that. That was the first time I watched Lipscomb. They are fucking terrible. They didn't stand a chance, and they didn't even look like they belonged on the court. No. Who said Lipscomb's actually good? I will call you out by name. I will. That was terrible. Oh, God. Couldn't even enjoy it. Not even for a second. Absolutely hated everything about Lipscomb. The AM GM with a new follow on Twitch. Yep. Never been on a team you don't know where they are from. Yeah, fair point. It's been Chalk City so far. Sure has. Lipscomb might have been the worst team in 64. I agree. Somehow worse than Georgia. I have bet on the worst teams in this tournament so far. That's been fun. Did not have a play in Memphis. I got to tell you, Memphis is they're not a very good team. Like, they've got potential. It's got to be like the Penny Hardaway thing. They're a little frustrating. Colorado State here. If you had Colorado State, that was a really, really good bet. I was watching that game, and the whole time I wanted Memphis to advance because I really like Dane Danger. But like, there is nothing else really going on with that team that excited me. I thought Colorado State was the better team, and I'm kind of happy to see them advance. despite Dane Danger being out. Duke got nothing to say about them. Vandy fought. 56 points is nothing to write home about, but they fought. They came out hot, had them race to 20. Love that. Ole Miss, what do we say about Ole Miss? The fucking peep team. Team I didn't hear a peep about the whole fucking week or two leading up to March Madness. A little bit. We took a flyer on them in the SEC tournament. I didn't hate UNC making a little bit of a run. I explained why. Thought they were playing their best basketball down the stretch, and I like that. But Ole Miss was the team I didn't hear a peep about. Not one person talk about Ole Miss. So I was out on that. Maryland and Grand Canyon. Can we give it up for the Maryland Terrapins real quick, please? Can we give it up for the Maryland Terrapins? This is a good basketball team. All right. Had the first half sweat, which was very fun. Late at full game as well, 10.5. Maryland, there's something about Maryland that's really catching my eye. Okay. I got to tell you, I haven't had a team. I haven't had a San Diego State or a team I've really leaned into in this tournament. And they're not really that team because it's no secret. Like they're good. I think they're a 4 seed, but they're also in the region of fucking doom, which we'll talk about. But I really like the way Maryland is playing basketball. So that's going to be a team that is absolutely on my bet on list, depending on what their situation is next round. I think they're 7.5-point favorites against Colorado State. Should be a really good game. That's a scary number. That's a scary team. Florida, Norfolk, got nothing to say about that. I really thought about getting there with Kentucky. Congrats to MJ. I think this was a really good read by him. MJ told me, and you guys pointed out that system, but you told me that teams coming out of blowout losses in their last game tend to do pretty well in the first round of the tournament. So I stayed off Troy. And plus, I don't really know about Troy. And one of you told me that you have no problem fading Kentucky, but Troy isn't the team you would do it with. But anyways, let's move on, and then let's get mid-major Matt up here, and we'll talk about the games today. Marquette, what did I tell you? Marquette, just not a good basketball team. New Mexico, dog, 75 points. Seems like a lot for them. I could be wrong. It was never Akron. It was never Akron, and I told Beeve this when he posted his card. I said, Akron is Montana today. He disagreed. He doesn't know ball. That's okay. Arizona is shooting the fucking lights out right now. Talked about it in their conference tournament. Listen, if you think teams in their conference tournaments peaked and you want to fade them, that's fine. If you think that you want to lean into it, with the way like Michigan started playing their best basketball and the way Arizona's shooting the ball, Arizona scares the fuck out of me. So they are on my do not fade list. Okay. People were only betting Akron because of LeBron. He's not even an Akron fan. He's a fucking Ohio State fan. Will we shut up about that? The over was the most popular play I think I saw on Twitter all day, and it fell under. UConn, Oklahoma. The only read I had here is where was the offense coming from? Didn't end up getting there like that first half under. It was never Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a rat shit basketball team. I don't know that it really says much about UConn. I don't think UConn's very good. Xavier, Illinois, kind of sad. I like Xavier. Great job to anybody who played Illinois. I think that was a really good bet. I think this game went over. Oh, no, it went under. Wow, total score 159. That's a tough under to lose because it seemed like a lot of points. All right, and then 2 more here, and then we'll get Matt up and we'll talk today's games. Bryant, it was never Bryant. Well, actually, I take that back. It was Bryant in the first half. It was not Bryant in the second half. I might be wrong about Michigan State. And then Liberty Bibberty against Oregon. Thought about getting there with Liberty late night, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed, save my units. We'll fight the good fight another day. UConn has covered 13 straight in March Madness. Wow. I am a little upset. Brian and Lipscomb were insanely trendy yesterday. And again, as we've been seeing in this tournament, if this kind of talk makes you uncomfortable, I don't know what to tell you. It's the fucking reality. The trendy dogs do not bite and are not barking. Okay. So that scares me because I want to go to a trendy dog today because I'm already seeing everybody on it. Spoiler alert, it's McNeese. Matt, are you ready to go? Because I saw you for a second and now I don't see you in your screen. But I'll get you up and we'll get into the board today. Very wrong about MSU. Yep. Actually, you know what? Let me take a quick piss. We'll get Matt up here. I don't see where he is right now. I think he's not sitting in front of his camera. Let me take a quick piss. I'll be right back and we'll get into it here in just a few minutes. Quick commercial break.
I think you're muted.
There we are. Matt, good morning. I was asking if you're nice and sleepy.
Brother, I take ice baths for my face, so I'm fucking nice and chilled. I'm wide awake, brother.
You know, I saw this video going around on Twitter that's it's very viral right now,
Is
where the
that black
guy
guy?
gets ready. Yeah, he's jacked and he keeps putting his face in water and ice, and then he's like shooting basketballs and someone holds water for him. I don't know where this came from, but it's very funny. Like morning
He's
routine.
viral now, man. He's all over.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I've never done the ice thing. I'm not really a cold shower guy. I mean, I know it works, but honestly, I'm just soft. Like I can't do it.
Oh, I mean the cold showers in the winter, they fucking man.
Yeah, they're
If
not
you're
great.
soft, if you got bad knees, DGen, it's not gonna make it any easier on you.
No, I'm a hot Epsom salt bath guy. Momo John 1312 new follow, welcome. All right, Matt, thank you for joining us nice and early. It's very
Thanks for
helpful
having
to have somebody to talk ball with. I am live here on TikTok. Good morning, everybody on TikTok. All right, let's go through today or get today set up. But first and foremost, how has March been treating you, and any particular takeaways that you're stewing on from the first 2 days?
Yeah. Houston won by 40. Not a peep. No one's talking about Houston. It's still, I know Houston eventually has to face Duke on that side of the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, yesterday all you heard about was Duke. Houston they have the second largest margin of victory now in the first round. No one's talking about Houston. I know they've let a lot of people down in the past. It's just something that I've noted for sure. Arizona, you touched on it. So one of the reasons why I actually bought an Arizona ticket coming into the tournament, I think I got a 25-1, is I know everyone hates Caleb Love, but they've got mid-major dogs all up and down that roster. If you watch them, you're gonna see this guy Toby Owaka. You're gonna fall in love with him. 6'8" guy. He's gonna rebound. He's gonna fight for every rebound. He looks like Charles Barkley out there. And they keep Caleb Love kind of grounded. They got two guards that will challenge Caleb Love, which I love. And I think they got a lot of potential. What else? Michigan State and St. John's. I still don't know, honestly, how to feel about them because they play – Michigan State doesn't have any veterans that I can really trust right now, but I'm not sure what I feel about that at the moment. St. John's, their 50-point performance, I can't imagine they ever do that again in the tournament in a half. So I'm fascinated to see how they continue that, especially with the trend that they play, is they press for 40 minutes, which takes a lot of fucking effort. Doing that against Omaha is one thing. Doing that against a Duke or Florida for 40 minutes, much different. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I think Colorado State is fucking amazing. I watched them against Memphis yesterday. Dane Deja is a man. He was the biggest guy on the court, but Colorado State they adjusted and made PJ Haggerty beat him in the second half. That dude fucking sucks. Penny Hardaway sucks. I think they have a lot of potential. They have. And you can quote me on this. I'll die on this hill. Nick Clifford. He's an NBA player. I'm willing to die on that hill. And that team is playing just 5-man basketball. It's a beautiful thing to watch, in my opinion.
Funny you say that. Yesterday, somebody on TikTok came in here and was like, Nikki Clifford, DJ, Nikki Clifford. And I was like, who the hell is Nikki Clifford? He's like, Nikki Clifford. And I'm like, I thought in my personal life, I'm like, I know like 2 Nickies, but their last name's not Clifford. And he's like, no, he's a Colorado State guard or something. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I haven't really watched Colorado State. I've heard good things about them. Yesterday was the first day I was really into that game. It was one of my favorite games of the tournament so far. And then Memphis collapsed late. And I think after I tweeted about it, but Colorado State was definitely a team I was pretty impressed with. I thought they play, I don't know who their coach is, but they just all kind of are on the same page. They're all, I don't know, good ball movement. Like everybody's locked in, whereas sometimes with college teams, like you were saying with Memphis, it kind of was like, okay, there's just one guy and everybody else sucks. Like those are teams that I'm not into as much as I thought I wanted to see Memphis make a run. I was like, I'm out. I was rooting for Colorado State, didn't have money on the game, but now I'm a little worried because I'm loving the Terrapins and they're going to play them next round, which we'll talk about another time. But let's good takeaways, by the way, good takeaways. And then I want to lean into that Houston nugget, or not nugget, but just that team a little bit more as we go through the board today. All right, so let's do so.
Throw it out real quick. And so last point on Duke, I think their offense is amazing. The issue that I have with Duke, which I actually did not end up investing in, they lost their defensive head coach before the start of the ACC tournament, which is a big fucking issue for me. I don't know how you're rated as the best defense in the country, lose your defensive coach who leaves your roster before the tournament, and how it does not make a negative impact on your team. I just don't see how that plays out. The ACC sucks. We know that. We're watching Louisville and Clemson absolutely get destroyed round one. Mount St. Mary's is a rated 300th out of 360 in the entire NCAA. So once they start playing better teams on offense, I'm interested to see what impact that really makes. And I think right now it's being really undervalued, and the market kind of is not correlated with that yet. So I think moving forward, there may be some discrepancy in points because that tidbit.
Okay. Interesting. Was this the guy that you told me about who passed away suddenly?
No, that's Feinstein. I wanted to invest in Duke because that's the narrative. Obviously, something bad happens to a team, you kind of want to rally around them. Which Feinstein's a legend in college basketball, but Shea Lucas is the coach. He went to Miami of all places. Yeah, I know.
But like a head coach? He took a head coaching job?
Yeah,
okay.
Money, obviously, but yeah, I can't back a team that loses as the number one defense that loses a head coach before a tournament. That makes no sense to me.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's talk about the first game today, 12:10 Eastern Standard. I am bypassing the NIT. McNeese and Purdue. Looking at the opener here, it looks like it was Purdue 6.5. It's down to 6 at most places. 144.5 was the total, down 2 points to 142.5. Just to kind of set the stage for people, McNeese took down Clemson in their first game. They're the 12 seed. I thought they were probably the only trendy dog that really came through in day one, maybe of the entire tournament. Oh, Drake as well, Drake and McNeese. But I don't even know that I'd classify them as a trendy dog. Like, people like McNeese, I think, a lot more last year, and we talked about this, and they kind of burned everybody. And kind of similar, like BYU did the same thing. Teams that burned bettors last year kind of came through this year. But Clemson, I don't know what to think about that game, because I had McNeese race to 20 or race to 10, maybe. Doesn't matter, one of those. But I watched a lot of the first half. McNeese won that first half 31-13. I still, and I think our guy Cam Is Money tweeted about this, even though winning that bet, and even though McNeese was up 18, I wasn't overly impressed with McNeese. I really, that guy, I think his name's like Copeland or something like that. I think he's like one of their better players or something. Please correct me if I'm wrong. A couple of really sloppy turnovers, a couple of bad offensive possessions, but they were really taking advantage of some offensive rebounds, some putback chances, and Clemson could not make anything. They ended up waking up in the second half. Clemson won that second half 54-38. They made it a lot closer than it appeared. But, sometimes it happens in college basketball games and tournament games where the better team, quote unquote, will just come out and they'll be super cold. And there's just nothing you can do about it. And then on the flip side, you'll have the Gonzagas that can't miss. So I don't know. I really, and Alan Dims was in here and it was like, you don't want to overreact. That's the biggest thing with sports bettors is you see something happen in one game, you don't want to overreact. Well, Matt, I don't know how you feel, but I think we are all overreacting. And I'm like knowingly going into this game, I'm probably going to bet McNeese, because on the flip side, Purdue played High Point. They ended up covering, but they didn't look good either. It was a close game most of the way. They were shooting really poorly. TKR played well, but Braden Smith, I posted a clip about it. He was 6 for 19. He was not good. Purdue played as poorly as they probably could have and still won the game by 12 points. So what you're probably going to get here is a Purdue team that wakes up, their shots fall, and their talent is going to prevail, and they're probably going to win this game comfortably. However, I still think I will probably go into this and bet McNeese, knowing it's not going to win, because I am a vibes guy. I like a good story. We don't really have a Cinderella. Kind of want it to be McNeese. You still have the coaching narrative with Will Wade leaving that people may keep them off a little bit. I don't know. And I know that's really long-winded. I'm sorry. I probably took a lot of the talking points away, but I've just had a lot of thoughts about this game. It's the first thing I thought about when I woke up. I said to myself, I'm going to bet McNeese today, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to cover. So what are your thoughts on Purdue McNeese?
You said a lot, and a lot of
Yeah.
it is what I share thoughts, man. I will say McNeese, one of the reasons why they're so good is they press the ball insanely well for the full court. That does get them into a lot of trouble, into foul trouble. However, the way to break press and the way to kind of alleviate that pressure is having a phenomenal guard. And on the other side that Purdue has, obviously, I'm sure we all know, is Braden Smith, perhaps the best guard in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And that completely just takes out the press of McNeese's ability to create turnovers. They rely on their guards creating the turnovers in the SWAC conference, which is not a very good conference. And now they're facing the best. Matt Painter is not a great coach by any means, but however, he knows how to run the PNR, and that can get these guards that love to press and McNeese into a lot of foul trouble. I don't think that McNeese can stop TKR and Braden Smith and the PNR in the paint. And I think watching that second half versus McNeese, it looked more like a team that was trying not to lose, more so than a team that was trying to win. And maybe that's the dog because they were an underdog and they were just, they were doing everything they can after last year's underperforming round one. However, Purdue, even though they're not great this year, I don't think they do a lot in the tournament. I don't think they win, honestly. I think they are 3 possessions better than McNeese. It is insane to me that McNeese bitched Clemson the way they did in the paint. McNeese is a very small team. Clemson has some monsters, and they absolutely did nothing. They had no effect whatsoever in Victor Larkin and Ian Shefflin. I cannot see TKR and the 2 bigs that are very good in Purdue, but regardless, still having that little of an effect on the game. And if they don't have that kind of effect on the game, or if they have any impact on the game, I don't think that McNeese covers this.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's fun. You brought up a good point about the second half. If I went with McNeese, I probably would go first half, or I would go under, because I would like for them to try to muck it up and before any of their better players got into too much foul trouble. And what I'm having a really hard time with in being confident about this play, even though I'm just not really a Purdue guy, and I've liked Braden Smith a lot. But that was a bad game, and everybody has bad games, but that was a bad game. Not even in the sense of, I heard a lot of talk about the Purdue High Point matchup going over. A lot of people like points, and part of the reason they said that was the drop coverage or whatever High Point played, that Braden Smith should be able to carve him up. And it was like the opportunities were there, and I thought he was doing an okay job, but I just thought he looked kind of slow, and he didn't look confident in any of his shots. Probably going to get a bounce back game from him. I'm fully aware that's how things go. But also at the same time, like, I kind of want to just lean into maybe this Purdue team is just not it. I mean, you have to remember too, like, how they lost in the conference tournament, and some of these games they played down the stretch, and how they just disappear offensively at times. That could be who they are. But ultimately, this is the problem. I look at McNeese, and you also have to remember this team in the first half, as bad as Clemson was shooting the ball, McNeese was 4 for 19 from 3. That's 21%. And they were 11 for 22 from the free throw line. That's 50%. You are not going to come within 3 possessions, as you say sometimes, or as you said about this game, which I like phrasing it like that. You're probably not going to come within 3 possessions if that's how you're shooting from 3 and from the free throw line against Purdue. Just not going to happen. If Purdue gets up to like an 8 or 9 point lead, I just have a hard time seeing McNeese come back. They don't strike me as a comeback team. So if I play this game, I will. I'm trying not to get cute and do these first half and team totals that much, but I probably would just play McNeese first half. I'm going to leave it alone. Are you officially on any side or total?
I have Purdue -6 locked saved. I haven't pressed the submit button, but it is locked in with my wager. And I want to address a point I guess Jonesy was taking in the chat made. I agree, on paper, Purdue has really bad interior D. I said that in the High Point I guess, analysis in our spaces.
Mhm.
High
I remember
Point had
that.
the chances.
Yeah.
Lights were too bright. And
Mhm.
again, if McNeese is down, shooting those shots look a lot different than if you're up. And having that pressure on you, I don't think that. And I mean, on paper, there's stats that Purdue is defending in the Big Ten a much different offense and much different bigs than what McNeese is able to put on the floor. So the quality of the opponent is also very different in that 280th or 300th rated 2-point defense that Purdue has. But I am, if I'm going to get to a window, it's going to be Purdue. And I don't think you can change my mind on that, unfortunately.
Very fair. I wouldn't try to change anyone's mind. The only thing I would do actually is and I got a DM this morning. It's so funny. Like I talked about this. The first thought you have when you wake up. It's such a funny thing, but I swear I told myself like I'm gonna bet McNeese. They're probably gonna lose by 18, but I'm gonna bet McNeese because I really want McNeese. This isn't how you should bet. But I'm going to bet McNeese. And the first DM I read to my from somebody, I won't give the name away, was at 1:20 a.m. And it says, "Think McNeese is the public dog that keeps rolling."
That's just, and the way that we know that the way you post on Twitter, that's a bad fucking sign already. That's
well,
just bad.
it came from a very smart and a very, very good sports bettor.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, sometimes you overthink things.
Sure.
There has to be that dog that makes things interesting. Is it going to be Drake? Is it going to be McNeese? Is it going to be Arkansas? I don't know. Going to be Colorado State? I'm not saying McNeese is the only option, but I am so unimpressed with Purdue. And I really think that they should be able to win this game by double digits. But like, I just want to pay to be sure I'm wrong about that. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense because I fucking do that all the time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I respect it. If that's because I'm not going to give you any shit for that because I've done that. So if you feel like you need to do that, I completely respect it.
What I would say, if you're going to bet McNeese, do not nuke it. Do not hammer it. Make it your.
Sorry.
What?
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, no good better is on McNeese. Well, I would say that I think that you're sharp, you're smart, better. I would say that, and I think that's okay to say, is probably buying low on the teams that people are overreacting on. I think Purdue would be one, and I think Auburn would be the other. And we'll talk about them in a little bit. All right, let's go to the next game. St. John's and Arkansas. So we've got Arkansas as a let's pull up Action Network or Wager Talk here. We've got a 7 opener, down 6.5 at Superbook and a couple other places. 144.5. I'm surprised this total has moved up. You talked about the second half scoring outbreak from St. John's in that game against Nebraska Omaha. Yeah, I mean, look, I've watched St. John's quite a bit, and my takeaway from the Big East tournament, and it's no secret, like they do come out slow and sluggish. And for whatever reason, maybe the other team kind of wears themselves out. Maybe the defense just picks up. But St. John's offensively does come alive as the game progresses. And I'll never forget your boy Cam Jones with that 13 points in 6 minutes and that place going nuts for Marquette because there were way more St. John's fans in there. And I'll tell you what, they certainly had the look on their face like, oh shit, like we're going to flame out. The lights are too bright. The inexperience might be catching up, whatever. And they just clawed back and fought back and suffocated Marquette. Nebraska Omaha, kind of the same thing. I watched the first half. I didn't watch the second half, but I went to bed because I have St. John's to win it all, which they're in the region of doom. It's not going to happen. But I'm like, God, are they really going to get knocked out by Nebraska Omaha? Like Nebraska Omaha had some dogs. And I went to bed thinking, shit, I hope St. John's wins when I wake up. Hey, it won by fucking 30. I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that. Arkansas, on the other hand, beating Kansas. Look, and I know I'm going to get shit for it, and that's fine. I'll die on the hill. But I just want to remind people, when I posted my bet about buying Kansas, I literally said, I don't think this team is good. They are not good. They are a bad team. They had some talent. They couldn't put it together. So what do you make of Arkansas? Maybe you can help me out with this because I didn't watch a ton of that game. I watched the second half and the ending of it. Kansas had a chance, but Arkansas ends up winning 79-72. The game goes over. I like the under in this game. I don't know that I really love Arkansas's offense in general. They haven't been a high-scoring team, I think, most of the year, except towards the end. They put up 93 and 90 against Vanderbilt and Mississippi State, 80 against Ole Miss. So maybe this Arkansas offense is kind of coming to life, but I think this is going to be a tight, scrappy game. Rick Pitino, John Calipari. I'm gonna stop with the first half nonsense, but the late game fouling does scare me. If this is tight, I can't get there with any side, but I think I'm gonna go under on this game. What say you?
Yeah, I think I also like the under. For the Kansas game is I've been saying Hunter Dickinson is the pound for that pound biggest bitch in college basketball for the past 6 years. And he single-handedly lost that Kansas game versus Arkansas. If you actually watch that game, he was terrible, man. Anyways, we'll move on. I do love that the entirety of Twitter is saying the same thing. That dude sucks. So I
saw a tweet. I meant to repost it. I forgot to, but it was, that video where like the old ladies are just tapping the slot machines. It said me liking every tweet talking shit about Hunter Dickinson.
I like that tweet. Yeah.
He sucks.
He fucking sucks, dude. Anyways, that being said, I don't think Arkansas is that good either, man.
Yeah.
However, the St. John's, if I'm playing, I think I'm laying with St. John's. If that second half shooting performance, and I think I would just take him to kind of continue it, in a really short turnaround game in the same gym.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a lot of athletes. They don't have a lot of ball knowledge, if you would, on Arkansas. They're very undisciplined. They can foul St. John's 30, 40 times in this game, honestly, the way Calipari plays them. And Pitino, again, I think he's the best coach in this generation of coaches. I think he's proven that at different programs. So I don't have much on Arkansas here, honestly, but I will say I think the SEC sucks. I think that UConn, they went 8-6 in the first round of the SEC. I think they fucking suck. But I think UConn barely scraping by the worst SEC team in Oklahoma. I think that's going to be overvalued in their next game. But Arkansas does nothing for me here. So it's St. John's.
Okay. I'm with you. I hope you're right. I hope it's an easy win for St. John's. And I'll probably ride with an under. Okay, we got a couple more SEC teams coming up in these next few games. Very interested to talk about Michigan and Texas A&M. This game is at 5:15. Looks like Texas A&M is a short 2.5-point favorite. Let's see if I can find an opener on this one. Michigan and A&M open 1. Wow, A&M up to 3. If that's accurate, that's really interesting. 140 up to 141. I also find that to be a little bit interesting, that the over would be moving up, because I haven't had a lot of success with this, but this matchup just looks like a low-scoring, slow pace game, especially with the way Michigan turns the ball over. Michigan last 2 games scored 68 and 59 points. Last couple games this season, I mean, overall they're not kind of 500 at the over/under. But Texas A&M is a team I don't know anything about. So I know Wade Taylor is their guy. I'm not a Wade Taylor dude. I think is Buzz their coach.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like him. He's a good dude. He's a guy I can root for. I lean Michigan here. And, I think I agree with you on what you said about the SEC sucking, and it's kind of crazy. Somebody told me that too. No, it was nobody in the chat. But as a Florida Gator fan, not Steak, but he said the same thing when he was a little worried about my Georgia best bet. He was like, my concern is the SEC actually sucks and they're just getting carried by the top dogs in the conference, the Auburn, the Florida, and the Tennessee. And I was like, man, really? I kind of think one of these teams is gonna impress people and overperform. It clearly wasn't Missouri, and it wasn't fucking Vanderbilt. I don't know if Arkansas could be that team, but I am just not a Texas A&M guy. I want to just go with my gut here. Michigan kind of escaped that trendy dog with UCSD, who they didn't match up very well with. They made it really close. They came out early, kind of dominated most of the game in the beginning, but then we're melting late. I'll make it that simple. I mean, I'm surprised there's so much steam going on Texas A&M here. Is the wrong team favored? Is that what you think it could be, Matt? Is it contrarian play? I kind of want to just press the button on Michigan.
I don't think the wrong team's favored. I will say Michigan winning by 3 versus UCSD, who did not have their best player on the floor for almost half the game. That really concerns me if you're investing in Michigan as a future. Ani Wania, Tate Jones for San Diego, he had 5 fouls and he fouled out super fucking early for San Diego. And Michigan not being able to pull away is a big red flag for me personally. They had, they have good players. They're a 31 team. They don't have NBA players like you could say Danny Wolf and Golden might be for Michigan. So that's an issue for me. I will say, so Texas's offense or Texas A&M's offense is atrocious to watch, and I do not recommend you watch this game because you will send 5 tweets about it's just making your eyes bleed, because their offense, the only way they get points is by offensively rebounding the ball, 25 times a game and just getting fouls, putbacks, whatever have you, because they cannot fucking shoot. However, Michigan with those 2 bigs and just in general are one of the best defensive rebounding teams in the country. So it just kind of takes away that opportunity that Texas A&M usually finds on the offensive end. So I think this is a rock fight. I think Michigan's guards have a lot of trouble with A&M and Wade Taylor. However, I think the bigs of Michigan give the inside of A&M's offense and defense real trouble too. So it feels like a rock fight. If there's not 25 fouls called, as you like to put it, if each teams aren't in bonus for 15 fucking minutes in each half, it feels like it's going to go under. So that's where I'm leaning at the moment. And from a side perspective, I do lean A&M only for the fact that Michigan failed to pull away from San Diego without their best player. That's really, I can't let that go unless you can somehow talk me off of that.
No, I think that's a really valid point. I didn't watch the second half of that game. I watched the beginning of it, and Michigan. It was interesting because Michigan came out and they were playing really well, and you heard UCSD was so good in turnover margin. I think they had 4 early turnovers, which is really uncharacteristic. And you're like, oh wow, this is going Michigan's way. And then all of a sudden they turn the ball over 8 times in the first 10 minutes. And I was like, well, Michigan, that start is fading. I still expected them to win comfortably. I agree. When I went to bed, waking up and seeing they won by the skin of their nuts was a different story. So it does give me that pause. And this really probably a game I shouldn't even get involved in the side. I would agree with you. I like the under, and I'm shocked. I guess I'm shocked to see the over move up, and I'm not going to look too much into it, but a point and a half is interesting to me. And the opener of 140 is also a little interesting to me. It didn't open 138. It didn't open 139. Kind of scares me that there might somehow be some points. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just can't see it, but I don't know. I'll probably, someone said no touch in the chat. I kind of agree with you more than I think about it. This might be a no touch. Matt, do you have an official play on this or no?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Here's a really interesting matchup that I hope you're going to tell me you co-sign, but I'm a Texas Tech guy. Texas Tech is one of the 3 teams. Well, one of the 2 because Kansas is dead. So I got St. John's and I got Texas Tech. Drake, I watched them play against Bradley in their conference tournament. I was pretty impressed by them. Watched them against Missouri. Was very impressed by them. And I feel like they don't get respected enough. But they have a little small group of Drake believers. And I'm really scared that Texas Tech could be vulnerable against that sleeper team that we talk about every March, because I'm really, it's probably not McNeese, let's be honest. But I want to play Texas Tech here, and I want to lay the 7. Texas Tech was in their first game against UNC Wilmington, were 15-point favorites, and they did not cover the spread. It was a pretty tight game. It was 38-34 at halftime, and they really didn't shoot well. They were 39% from the field from 2, 28% from 3. They shot 46 threes and 65% from the free throw line. That's not good. And frankly, if I'm not overthinking this, probably going to take the points with Drake. But I'm a Texas Tech guy. And I kind of I'm a Texas Tech guy because I think they have I don't know if a complete team is the right way to say it, but they have like the right pieces for a team that is a nightmare matchup in a tournament style setting.
Okay.
I mean, I like the top end guy. I just do. I don't know if I should or shouldn't. Their best performer was this guard, Kerwin Walton, 6'5", 210. He had 27 points against UNC Wilmington. It's pretty fucking impressive. I just think I'm a Texas Tech guy. They passed my eye test. And I think Drake is going to hang around, and then I kind of see Texas Tech pulling away late and winning by like 11. What do you think?
I think I'm a Drake guy. I'm just gonna buy in. I think
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Steak's tweet that blew up yesterday, and being one of the most like boring tournament or whatever he said, I completely agreed with it. And I think Drake and Colorado State have to be the two teams. They have to carry us dog betters to make this exciting. I'm just gonna buy into that narrative. Texas Tech, they shot 67 goddamn % of their attempts from three. That is a terrible statistic when they shot 28% overall. That's such bad coaching, and which is surprising because Grant McCaslam, he's known as one of the best coaches in college basketball. So that's just insane to me. They're most likely without one of their starting point guards, which is an issue. McMillan for me.
I'm seeing.
And
was he hurt? Was he hurt in the UNC Wilmington game?
He's been banged up for a while,
but
yeah, he did not play in versus Wilmington. And to speak of that Wilmington game, Wilmington was in the game for 38 minutes. It was a dogfight for Texas Tech. If they didn't call a foul every possession down the floor on the UNC defensive side, it'd be a lot closer, and Texas Tech would not have won by 10. So that spread is a little not accurate, I guess, in terms of game flow and what was actually how the game was played. So Tech they were pressing against the ropes the entirety of the game. So I like Drake. I know they just won outright as a dog. And I know they're getting 7 points again, the same spread. So I guess you could say that line looks unusual. But if you would, I love the point that you made in our spaces about VCU in their adjusted net ratings, being pretty poor in the conference when you account for their opponents. So Drake's adjusted numbers are actually really poor, and you can easily argue that's why the spread is 7 when Texas Tech's adjusted numbers are much better. So it can easily lead to the 7-point spread. So I don't think that looks too odd. And also, I don't think Texas Tech can consistently cover Sturtz. I can forget his name on Drake. He's too big. Surprisingly, Drake has more size at the guard position than Texas Tech does, and that really concerns me for a team that rebounds and that relies on the defensive rebounds as much as Texas Tech. So I like Drake. I know it's a square fucking dog. It was a square dog round 1, and they won outright against my Missouri bet, which I'm happy to accept and acknowledge I was the wrong side. I don't think Texas Tech is playing very good basketball at the moment, and I think Drake is playing phenomenal. I think the way that their coach is having them play is better than the way McCasland has the Red Raiders playing. So I do have the 7 punched in for Drake.
Well, I got to tell you, I think that even in the conference tournament, losing by 6 to the way Arizona's playing right now is actually something I would tip my cap to. All they keep doing is shooting 50%. They were 50% from 3 in that game. And I guess I don't like the way Texas Tech shot the ball last game. Somebody asked, is this total low, Snacks? No, not when you look at the totals Drake gets. Drake had a total at 118 2 games ago. And their style of play, I think it makes a little bit more sense.
I agree, though. It is pushing more. It is respecting Drake's defense more, it seems like.
Sure.
So then, because Texas Tech just had a 150.
Which that was a huge indicator and a big red flag in that Missouri game. Steak friend with a bunch of sub bangs. We love that. Hello, Steak. Good to see you. I think that let me go pull it up actually because I don't want to misquote it. Yeah, when Drake was playing Missouri, that total was 133, and I thought to myself, "Holy shit!" Missouri in a game with a total of 133 seems insane.
Yeah.
So even though I got there with Missouri, I was nervous because I'm like, this total favors Drake. So it's kind of doing it again. I wouldn't. Drake has played 4 straight unders. I think that they're playing really good basketball. I don't have a lot of confidence in Texas Tech, but that'd be the side that I would play. And I don't blame you for being a Drake guy, though. I'm kind of in on that Sturts dude. He's swaggy and he's fun. Let's talk about Creighton and Auburn. Kind of a similar situation here, in my opinion, with Purdue, just a little bit. So I believe Auburn opened 10, and they are down to 9. Yep, 10 down to 9. So you got money coming in on Creighton, 150.5, kind of staying right around there. Creighton shot the lights out when they played Louisville, 89 points, couldn't miss. I had Creighton, but I also had Auburn first half, and I was really disappointed with how they came out against Alabama State. They looked kind of very sloppy, a little sluggish, a little slow, not really into it. They woke up, though, and they won the game by 20, so I give them credit. That is a concern for me because as much as I like the way Creighton played basketball and I love how well they shot, you don't always stay hot, And Louisville also being the ACC may have kind of sucked. Let's be real. Yeah. They may have sucked. As much as I like Chucky Hepburn, he played well. They might suck.
Yeah.
So now you're having a huge step up in class here. You had a really good performance from Creighton, and you kind of had a very meh performance from Auburn, who's been giving you that the last few times. This style of betting, in my opinion, is probably, I don't know for sure, more profitable long-term than it's not. And buying low, not overreacting, and taking Auburn here. Now, if smart bettors and sharp money is hitting Creighton at 10, I can understand why. I actually think it opened up 11 at first yesterday when I saw it. I can understand why, because it looks like a lot of money, a lot of points, and you have to like what you saw from Creighton, and you just want to lean into that. I'm okay with it. Maybe there's really something wrong with this Auburn team with the way they've been playing lately. I wanted to take Creighton. I want to take them on the money line, but I don't know. I have too much respect, I think, for Auburn. As of right now, it's a stay away from me. I also kind of lean the under. What about you?
I love Auburn.
You love them.
Love them.
Love them.
I'll buy into that bounce.
Not shocked to hear you say that, by the way.
I know. Sometimes you just got to pick a hill to die on, man. You can't flip-flop. You can't snip, snap. Your vasectomy, you just got to fucking, if you get one, you stick with it, and that's your decision you make. This is one of the hills I'm dying on. A lot of reason, the metrics, of course, you want to speak to. Auburn is the number 2 adjusted offense, number 2 adjusted defense. So on paper, the matchup speaks to why it's such a large favorite. Also, let's talk about the human factor. This is the 5th game Creighton will be playing in 5 days. I'm sorry, in 10 days. I apologize. So 5th game in 10 days, all the way from home. And 10 days ago, they played a double overtime game against fucking DePaul. This is Creighton's DePaul. Yeah, you were there. Oh yeah, you were bitching. That's right, against the biggest tournament. This is Creighton's best opponent since I guess in terms of metrics or just on paper that they played since St. John's. Mm-hmm. They're 1-2 against St. John's this year. The one win, they won by 1 at home when they held St. John's to 56 points. They're not going to hold Auburn to 56 points. I think Auburn has the size to really fuck with Stephen Ashworth. And if you fuck with Stephen Ashworth, that offense looks like a shell of itself. You have Janai Broome. You know who that is, I imagine?
Yes.
Janai Broome and the big for Auburn, they can step out of the paint and they can make Kalkbrenner really, really fucking uncomfortable. And I think that puts him in a lot of situations, either to get in foul trouble or just to be not the defensive anchor that he has been for the entirety of the season. Mm-hmm. And then the main bright spot for Creighton against Louisville was this guy, Jemiah Neal, career high, almost 30 points. He played phenomenal. Do I think he does that 2 games in a row? I do not. And so this is I'll put it this way, is Creighton has to have all 3 guys play well, in Kalkbrenner, Ashworth, and Jemiah Neal. If one of them doesn't, they're not going to cover the spread. I'm essentially betting that one of them does not play well. And Auburn, they play like the team that they have been for the first 3 months of the season. and that they dominate this Creighton team that is overvalued at the moment.
I thought that was an A+ sell job. And you want to know what my favorite part was? What you just said about Neal, because that was a guy who I was not really impressed with. And then ever since I've said that, after the first time watching him, he's done nothing but score points. So I think he's overachieving right now, or overperforming, whatever you want to say. But I got to tell you, the way he was driving and attacking the rim against that Louisville game, I was pretty impressed. Is he going to be able to do that against Auburn? Probably not. Stephen Ashworth. By the way, Greg, with 5 sub bangs, we love that. Greg says Creighton POD, respectfully disagree. Greg would be the guy to love Creighton. A bunch of big goofy dorks running around out there. That's that Florida Gator blood in him.
I respect it. He liked Russell Wilson starting for the Steelers, so I get where he's coming from.
Hey, Russell did cook a few games. I had to rub my face in that shit for a little while, but let's not get me started on that. So here's the thing. He loves Creighton. Wow. Okay. Here's the thing. I will say, I got to give Creighton a lot of credit, because the way they were playing basketball in that Louisville game was beautiful. That was like, I realized, you know what I did? I was standing, I forget what I was doing. I was like walking to my kitchen or doing something, and I was just standing up. That the first 10, 15 minutes of that game were awesome, because Louisville was banging for a little bit. But I was watching Creighton, and I realized I was standing there like this, like I was a fucking coach on the sideline, and I was like frozen. I was frozen, and I realized I wasn't sitting down. I wasn't doing anything. I forgot what I was supposed to do. I was just in awe watching Creighton's offense. And I was like, damn, the way they're running screens, all the movement they had. And then I think I heard someone told me like Sean McDermott is a guy, he has like 300 plays or something. And I was like, man, this is really, I like what they're doing. But Stephen Ashworth, at the end of the day, is just not a guy that really fires me up. And as good as I think Kalkbrenner is, I think they can get bitched around by the right team. Auburn might be that team. So I lean with you, Greg. Greg's my guy. I hope that I hope that somehow you both can win your bets. But I can't. He says Auburn peaked. I can't get there with Creighton as much as I wanted to at first. So I respect the Auburn side a little bit more than Creighton. Might stay out of this game entirely. Matt, let's talk BYU Wisconsin. I have some thoughts on this.
As do I.
I have some thoughts on BYU Wisconsin. Also, what fucking asshole put 3 games between 6:10, 7:10, 7:45, and there's a break from 2:40 to 5:15.
I was gonna say the same goddamn thing. How fucking stupid are these people?
I don't know. I hate them. Anyways, let's talk BYU and Wisconsin. So again, as I talked about in the very beginning, the 2 teams that burned people last year and came through this year, BYU and McNeese. I think you loved BYU last year. Starting to think you might have been a year early. Sorry, not to bring that up, but I think you might have been a year early. VCU was a very, very popular dog. And at the end of the day, like I said, popular, trendy dogs do tend to hit. They hit last year, Oakland and whatever came through. They're not really coming through this year. And VCU, I thought they played a pretty solid first half, but BYU impressed the hell out of me. They ended up winning the game 80-71. They were making shots. I just like teams that go out there and they look confident. They've got some swagger and they look really pissed off. And I give credit to coaching too. So good coaching. And I just thought they had dudes. Even the guys coming off the bench looked good to me. Now they're playing a Wisconsin team that I like. I like Wisconsin. I took Wisconsin to win the Big Ten tournament, and I would do it again. I don't regret that bet. I liked Wisconsin. They, they played Michigan pretty well. They just ran out of gas. They didn't have their legs from under them. I doubled down on Wisconsin. I took them minus 16.5 against Montana. It got a little sweaty, and they still didn't shoot very well.
No,
I don't know what's going on with this team, but their shot is not there. They have a guy. Let me see if I can find it. They have this dude, not Tanji. Tanji's good, although he didn't really do much. He was kind of quiet. But this is the guy I was so impressed with. He was number 25 on Wisconsin. Blackwell. I really liked what I saw from Blackwell. And Blackwell was 0 for 3 from 3, but he was 7 for 12. So that means he was 7 for 9 from inside the 3-point line, 5 for 6 from the free throws. This guy was getting to the basket. He was making plays. He was everywhere. And I like dudes, when you see them, when they bring the ball up the court, they are just looking to attack. You know what I mean? And they know, I'm going to draw a foul. I'm going to get to the rim. We're a fucking 3 seed, they're a 14th seed. I'm going to treat them like that. That was the only guy in Wisconsin that was playing with that type of mentality. And I was a little disappointed that nobody else was. I thought the bigs on Wisconsin were kind of soft. I thought the guys on Montana were kind of bodying them a little bit. I didn't really see them having much success, like getting to the rim, and their shot making wasn't there. I got to tell you, I'm fucking leaning Purdue. I'm sorry. I'm leaning BYU. I'm really liking BYU. What can you tell me?
I think Wisconsin, I think their defense is full of a bunch of bitches. I think they get bitched, DJ.
I think they are bitches.
I
think they're soft.
I think they are soft. I hate Steven Crowell inside. The guy's tall. The guy
hate him.
Beeve would fucking out rebound.
Yeah, it's like 33 or something.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I don't like that guy.
Big,
at
tall,
all.
white guy. He has no muscle.
They have two of them, but I don't like one of them. That's probably him.
Yeah. This is, again, to bring in the human factor, is you said that the Badgers didn't shoot well. This will be their 5th game in 9 days. This will be their 2nd game back-to-back in altitude. I don't like that for a team that has to score points to essentially win games, because I don't love their defense in the Badgers. So I like BYU, and I know it's going to be square. I know the reason why they beat VCU last game is because of the discrepancy in foul calls, which pisses me the fuck off. Mm-hmm. However, that's the way the game was played. BYU still won the game. They out-rebounded VCU. They didn't shoot well. They played pretty poorly on offense, and they still found a way to win, which I respect. Wisconsin did not look good at all, and they covered. And I think that's kind of because they covered. The fact that they covered is hiding some of their discrepancies, if you would, as a team. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really being overlooked. So I'm a BYU guy. I'm not a fan of, I said it in the spaces, Greg Gard for the Badgers, not a good coach. His record in March Madness is really poor. And I think that continues. I think that the Big 12, the top of the competition for the Big 12 is better than the top of the competition for the Big 10. And this is one of the games that I'm going to die on, essentially. BYU is a better basketball team than Wisconsin. They have a better coach than Wisconsin, and I'll pay to find out if I'm wrong or not.
Yeah, I think, which is unfortunate because I think I have a fun 4-team to the Sweet 16 parlay, paying 8-1, and I think I put Wisconsin in there. And then after watching the first game, I was like, nope, they're soft. I'm not in on them. And then I watched the way Purdue, I keep saying that, BYU played, and I'm like, I'm in on this team. And I was looking at BYU, and you look at their last 10 games. So they put up 80 against VCU. Put up 96 against Iowa State, 85, 88, 77 against West Virginia, but they won that game by 21 points. 91 Arizona State, 96 against Arizona, 91 in Kansas. The only team to give them a problem was Houston. And what have you been saying about Houston? Nobody's
best in the country.
Exactly. Nobody. That is what I was getting to, where I said I want to talk about Houston a little bit more, but let's wait. That stuck in my head when I was thinking about BYU. That one big loss by 20 points and getting clobbered was enough to keep people off of BYU. So, and that's kind of what made VCU so trendy, I think, because they're scrappy, they're dogs, they play good defense, and Houston did too, and they dominated that game. So, yeah.
You see Greg's comment?
Let's see. Jesus, guys, I love the Badgers. Oh, well, hey, Greg, one of us is going to win. One of us is going to. Greg likes soft crackers. That's what he likes. Soft crackers. Put them in your soup. So, Creighton and Wisconsin only picks. Absolutely hilarious. Well, Greg,
saltines?
Saltine crackers. Yeah. What did I say? Soft crackers, saltine crackers. I just had a bunch of them when I poisoned myself with vermouth. I think I like the Creighton bet more than I like Wisconsin. I actually really like BYU. Might be a POD.
I'll say they're both comfortable bets.
You makes sense. Soft cracker bitch. Okay, let's keep moving. 2 more games, and then we'll shut it down. Matt, thank you again. I can't tell you how much I appreciate having you up here. Gonzaga and Houston. So, you know what Gonzaga did to me.
I do.
With Georgia, and I love what you said going into that game. Georgia had dogs, but they were shell shocked. Yeah. The way Gonzaga came out in that game, I have to give nothing but respect. I tip my cap. No excuses made. I mean, Georgia really didn't stand a chance after that. They did. It was funny. After the game was 30-5 at one point, I was like thinking about what the score was from there. And at one point, I think Georgia was up like 46-42, like just from that point in scoring. And I was like, ooh, if you just take away that start of the game, Georgia's actually playing well.
Right.
Tell me Gonzaga can't come out and fucking shoot 75% from three again against this Houston team, because that's all I can think about. However, if I were to make this number, I would make it more than 5. And that's what kind of scares me. I feel like Houston should be 6.5 here. And I'm really wondering, well, on that note, I guess I should probably look at the opener. Not open 5 and it's staying 5. I think Houston money line is a button a lot of people would press. However, I think maybe I'm also wrong, because I'm a guy who disrespects Gonzaga more than other people. And I think I'm starting to immediately buy into Houston because, like you said, they feel slept on. Nobody's really talking about them that much. It's like, yeah, we know they're nasty, and I was this guy too. I was literally this guy a couple of days ago. I'm like, I'm out on Kelvin Sampson. But I watched them in that SIU Edwardsville, and I was like, I know SIU Edwardsville is nothing crazy, but they are so nasty out there. They're nasty. At SIU, I think, went like 10 minutes without scoring a point or something. They are fucking nasty. So I don't know, man. I want to fade Gonzaga again. Tell me I can do it.
I mean, it's super uncomfortable with Gonzaga's offense. And if you, in a black and white sense, when you think about paired up against Houston's offense and their inability to score consistently over the years. So you said it. I think that I think this Houston team is very different than the ones that we've seen in the past, with the addition or the consistent play of Milos Uzan, the third consistent guard that Houston has. It has completely changed what Cryer is able to do, Emmanuel Sharp. They should be getting Jawan Roberts back today too. And what I love about Jawan Roberts is, pound for pound, I think he's the strongest guy in college basketball. That's super important for me. When you talk about Graham Ike on the other side, is typically in the WCC, Graham Ike can just do whatever he wants. That's not going to happen against Duke. Duke's defense is just filthy. What they do and being able to trap everybody, the way they rotate, their IQ that they have with defense is just insane to me. Gonzaga has to play fast, essentially, I think, to be efficient. And if you want to talk about that St. Mary's game, when the WCC title, St. Mary's shot like 10% from three. So do I think Houston shoots 10% from three? I don't. So someone talked about winning the fade Mark Few in March. I guess I agree, but Mark Few also has kind of underperformed with his Gonzaga teams in March. And now he's I think he gets outcoached today. And we've said it for the majority of the year. Stake has also. This might be the worst Gonzaga team that we've seen in a really long time. And just because they jumped out in a maybe not against the dog shit SEC, but this Houston team is much different. So I think lane 5 with this Houston offense, if you would, feels like a lot against a Gonzaga team that has, let's see what they've done in the recent performances here, DJen. Because they've been on a roll too. Gonzaga the last couple games.
People keep saying, by the way, it's pronounced Gonzaga. I guess Kelvin Sampson just had a fit about this in a press conference. Did you see that? I saw something about it.
I did not.
Kelvin said he doesn't like the way people are pronouncing it. It's Gonzaga. I think I said Gonzaga too. Gonzaga? Yeah, I guess.
Well, I haven't seen the interview, so I don't know if that's true or not. So
I didn't watch it.
I'm going to be ignorant for the time being. So in their past, since February, Gonzaga has lost to one team, and that's St. Mary's twice. They beat Georgia by 21. They beat St. Mary's in that time by 7. They beat San Francisco by 20. They beat San Francisco by 9. They beat Santa Clara by 19. They beat Washington State by 21. They beat a team by 52. Beat a team by 12. Beat a team by 17. Beat a team by 20. Really bad teams in WC, I'll give you. But no one's talking about the quality of opponent that Gonzaga is playing, more so than just Gonzaga. More so than just Gonzaga playing well. And if you want to talk about adjusted schedules, which I appreciate you bringing that up in the spaces, by the way, you're dabbling in other arts. So WDGen,
I adapt.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Greg is a stubborn old fuck. I try to teach him anything and he tells me to fuck off, but that's why don't be like Greg when you grow up. Just kidding. Continue.
Yeah. Oh, that record too, McKiffin brought up this is their record, 10th straight Sweet 16 if they win. I think Kelvin Sampson is the one to break that. And if you want to talk about adjusted net offenses and net defenses against the quality of the opponents, Gonzaga is 71st in offensive rating and 75th in defensive rating. That's not good.
No.
And when you talk about Houston, they're 39th in offense, a team, quote unquote, that can't score, and 20th in defense in the Big 12. And that I much more respect that than I do with Gonzaga's stats. So I think Houston wins this game. I don't know if paying 200 on Houston feels very comfortable to a lot of people against this Gonzaga team. And yeah, I think -5 is. I think I'm going to get there. I have not yet, but I really want to.
Okay. Well said. I think I'm going to make Houston first half a POD. Gonzaga was shot out of a fucking cannon to start that game. I don't think they do it again. By the way, I will say I like that guy Khalif Battle. He's awesome, 99. And I like 99. I like 99 for a basketball number.
What if I tell you this though? Because you love your first half bets. Gonzaga consistently comes out hot.
Oh, okay.
Is that not, you know what I mean? So they kind of die off in the second half.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Thank you. All right, Matt, let's finish strong. And then we're going to get out of here. I'm going to raid Ramble. And then I think I'm going to hop on there for a few minutes and I got to get Corp. Thank you again. Make sure you're following at Not Mid Major Matt on Twitter, W Ball Nowhere. And we'll do spaces again too, maybe next week if you can join. All right. Tennessee and UCLA. I don't really know anything about UCLA and I'm not really a UCLA guy. I wasn't really a Tennessee guy, but I think Steak was kind of selling me a little bit on them. And I like what I saw from them playing Auburn, but now I'm wondering if Auburn was just kind of sleepwalking through that SEC tournament. I don't know what to think about either of these teams. This is probably a stay away from me, but UCLA beat the piss out of Utah State, but Utah State was terrible. They're awful. I would lean Tennessee here, but I think this is just a weird, I think I'm just going to stay away, but I don't see how Tennessee loses to UCLA. No way. You like UCLA? Really?
I don't know if I like UCLA, but I don't like Rick Barnes.
I'm so with you on that. I like when Steak said Tennessee was his pick at 16-1. Was so with you on shitting on him. You don't know ball because Rick Barnes sucks. So I'm with you. But what do you like about UCLA? Anything?
I like that they can make this an absolute fucking dogfight.
I love Chaz Lanier.
Yeah, Chaz Lanier's NBA player. Chaz Lanier, by the way.
God, say that about everybody. I do like him, though. I do like him.
I think this is a fucking dog meat. Oh, it's a rock fight. This is in the mud. This is going to be disgusting. This is a game that puts everyone to bed. I think it's a good game. I think it's a 2-3 possession game throughout the majority of everything. I'm hoping the whistles they're not soft. Because there's going to be a lot of tough battles for rebounds and driving in the lane, all this shit. I think UCLA covering the 5.5, again, it feels uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And especially when you talk about UCLA's record going East Coast this year, away from the West Coast, it's been really fucking poor. So if you consider that factor, I think that's a narrative that would be popular to fade, which I don't disagree with. Mm-hmm. However, UCLA has been on I forgot where they are actually, but they've been on this side of wherever they are for quite some time, about a week or so. So I think their bodies have adjusted, and I love the fact this is my perspective, and I'll give you Bill Self at one point in the season. He called his dudes soft, and he just said that they don't have it. And they look that way. They reacted like little bitches. Mm-hmm. Mick Cronin called his dude soft and little bitches, and they came out immediately and won the next game by 30. I like that as a team. I like that Mick Cronin challenged his dudes. I like that he challenged these young men and said to your face, you performed fucking terribly. You shit the bed. Be better. I know you're better than this. And they reacted positively. I like that. Coaching advantage, I'll give to Mick Cronin over Rick Barnes. I think these are very similar rosters. I don't think that UCLA technically has the athletes to keep up, but I think they can drag Tennessee into the mud, and make this really uncomfortable.
Brother, you just talked me into UCLA.
Not what I was trying to do, but that's
I know. But it's not super hard because I'm not a Rick Barnes guy or Tennessee guy, but I think I might be in on 10. There's got to be a little chaos today. Got to be a little chaos.
Chaos,
and you're right. It could be Drake. I don't think it's Arkansas. Could be Drake. I hope it's McNeese. It could be Drake. I hope it's not because I have Texas Tech. What if it's fucking UCLA? That would
where have you heard UCLA? Where have you heard that?
Nothing.
No one.
They are today's peep team. Yesterday was Ole Miss. Today is UCLA. Not a peep about UCLA.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it was a fucking Hail Mary, or it was a garbage time. But Rick Barnes is 1-13 ATS in March now. Yes. It is what it is. The dude just cannot coach when the lights are bright.
Mid-Major, thank you very much for coming on. That was awesome. Waking up at 6 a.m. Your time. We really, really appreciate that. I'm going to send everybody over to Ramble, so hang tight in 2 seconds. What's your favorite bet today?
Auburn. Fuck Greg.
Auburn, fuck Greg. I absolutely love that. Yeah. And I still owe you a Daniel Jones jersey. I'm sorry. But I think he's on the Vikings now.
And State owes me a fucking jersey from 2 years ago. So just fucking, I'll get Greg to owe me a jersey this season. Make it a fucking trifecta.
Yeah, let's go. Let's triple down. Double or nothing. Triple or nothing. If you can't get one from Greg, then all our debts are clear.
I'm good with that. All right, thanks for having me as always. Appreciate your insight and your thoughts, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thank you for joining. Make sure to follow Mid-Major Matt. Take it easy, dude. We'll be in touch.
Take it easy.
All right, Shady Beef, BYU thoughts before I place my 10-unit nuke. Talk me out of it, knowing my side. Shady Beef, I literally said BYU is probably my POD today. So are we collabing? We know the bets never hit when we collab, but that's probably my favorite bet today. So holy shit, catching DGen live. Let's go. You old sailor, you W's. All right, guys, I'm sending you over to Ramble. I'm going to hop on a little bit too. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will check you guys later. Have a great day. Good luck on your bets. I'll see you over at Ramble. All right. Join the raid. Collab, we ain't collab. No collab, but collab. Go BYU. Go Mormons. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you on Ramble in a few minutes.